as Camille is the first ban away from that man we mentioned already, Lourlo.
Yeah, Lourlo playing a lot of Camille as well as Gnar. Very common picks so far, and top lane continues to get focused here. Gangplank, the #1 blind pick top laner that everyone's been going after. Definitely a common red side ban. Not really surprised here so far. Golden Guardians are actually just kind of banning out a lot of the super strong champions in the current meta. You know, everyone well acquainted with Skarner as well.
Seen GP Skarner and Zoe kind of be the red side bans. Alawi actually banned away from Lourlo. Ton of respect shown there. And I think Galio, we mentioned how much Golden Guardians fight together. Makes sense to take Galio out of the picture there.
Yeah, definitely some intelligent bans here from Counter Logic Gaming, and they're target banning Lourlo, as you said. He did play the Alawi into any tank matchup, basically, is pretty free for Alawi because she heals as well as does max health percentage damage. So maybe Darshan will be playing the front line this time around.
Well, Zoe ban means Sejuani first pick there for CLG. So pretty straightforward stuff there for them. I mean, again, I think as far as junglers go, Skarner is very good, but teams have finally wisened up to the fact that you should be taking him away, and Sejuani kind of falls into the next obvious choice.
Yep, Sejuani off the table now, so Golden Guardians can answer back with either grabbing their jungle already or trying to establish a bottom lane pick. You know, Varus has been extremely popular. Gets very powerful very early on, and Ryze will be locked in for high once again. Did play yesterday.
Yep, straightforward stuff here. Ryze going to be the selection for Golden Guardians. 15 seconds to make this next pick here. Seen a lot of this from Deftly. He was a big Cogmore player, but Varus going to be the lock-in for GG's.
Yeah, it's getting a little too easy, Pastry.
True.
We're going to see pretty standard openings here as well then from both teams. So CLG, let's see, since they haven't actually targeted mid lane much already, Huhi pretty much has his pick of how they want to play this game. And a lot of CLG's strategies revolve around this mid laner. He's so incredibly important to how they want to play the game. Still definitely have, you know, the Aurelion Soul for side lane roaming, as well as things like Azir up as well, even though the Ryze being picked early is kind of a one to dissuade that pick, as he does very well into the matchup.
Yep, Kalista the big here. Again, straightforward stuff for ADs. So we'll see what CLG get done with this next pick. I wonder if they'll take their support here. No! Twisted Fate here from Huhi, a pick that we have not seen that much of. But it certainly makes sense again, especially given Huhi's style and general diversity as a mid laner.
All right, we're looking for some roaming. There you go. Twisted Fate in the mid lane. Also, Twisted Fate right now, there was a very popular post from Apto, super high solo queue player who has always been able to charge up to #1 in the ranks on any server in the entire world. He played a bunch of Twisted Fate and was talking about how with the Resolve secondary and a lot of your rune choices, you can basically negate a lot of the matchups that were very abusive for Twisted Fate previously, and just farm out the early game and make use of your ultimate to try and get your side lanes ahead and become more of a tanky Twisted Fate than we have seen in the past. Let's see, now Tahm Kench is locked up for the Golden Guardians. This is a good response for possible early Twisted Fate ultimates down to the bottom side. Tahm Kench very obviously can devour people out of the gold cards, but since CLG already have a Kalista in the bottom lane as well, that's another form of crowd control. And just devour isn't going to be able to keep an entire lane safe, so there still are options for CLG going to either side of the map right now.
Yep, I like taking Alistar there as well off the board. Golden Guardians targeting that lane. Thresh going to join as well, as Biofrost will lose that champ. And one more now from CLG. You'll see if they double up on those jungle picks. Kha'Zix been very popular today. It's kind of one of the other junglers hovering around the top tier with Sejuani and Skarner. Makes sense, but we'll see if CLG have something else in mind. Contractz does play a lot of different champions, and they'll pivot. Actually, again, Lourlo going to eat one more ban with Gnar taken away.
All right, so top lane definitely dwindling here. Golden Guardians would get their first shot at it before CLG would answer, or you can keep your counter pick alive. Meanwhile, it's also going to be interesting to see what comes in through the support role of CLG, because they've banned out quite a lot of the most common combinations with Kalista, but Rakan is an option that Biofrost, you know, in Stixxay did use already, and it's definitely a very offensive one that they could go for hard engage.
Yep, I kind of like the on pick here as well. I mean, it's not something we expect Lourlo to really carry on, but is certainly a strong tank in the top side. So GG's maybe, again, sticking to the plan of playing together. There's Braum from CLG, so another very standard support. And I guess just last pick here for top side, what does Darshan want to play now that he knows his matchup? should be free to play just about anything, you have to think.
Yeah, Ornn actually has a decent amount of good matchups still in the top lane, even with a lot of the nerfs coming through. But it would be very interesting, since they do have the Twisted Fate, you would usually want to have an equally high threat top lane as you do in the bottom side there with the Kalista. So there are multiple options now here for Huhi to work with. Fiora is going to come in. You get to get proc vitals on Ornn and try and make use of the true damage as well as the healing. See if the Twisted Fate is going to be able to get either of these side lanes off the table.
Yeah, we've actually seen it already from CLG, but it was in mid earlier. There's Kha'Zix, the last lock from Golden Guardians, so Contractz sticking to the meta game as far as that pick's concerned. But again, Darshan has certainly been playing, I would say, pretty selfishly. Not that that's a bad thing. He is one of the better performing members of CLG. So I think they're just saying, you know what? Give something to our bot lane where they can feel enabled. Stixxay's best games this split have been on Kalista. And then, throw the Sejuani TF top and try and get Darshan a lead and split push to victory. It's been a CLG trademark for a while.
Yep, and on the side of Golden Guardians, they actually have a lot of options. We've seen how effectively Matt can get around the Summoner's Rift on Tahm Kench, reposition people for either objective rushing, trying to take down early turrets, or even just surprising split pushers. So there is mobility on both sides, and they can be answered.
Well, again, both these teams in a pretty rough spot as far as the standings go, so a pretty important win here for both to try and move themselves up into the standings. I'll have to see what happens. I think GG's keeping it simple, keeping it pretty close to the metagame. Kind of Logic Gaming, a slight twist off, but we'll have to see. Huhi, what would you say his success rate is on non-meta champions being picked? Because he's played Vel'Koz already, he's had that Fiora game, maybe not as successful as he's been in the past, but I think this is a little bit more of a return to form. This should be pretty straightforward for a player like him.
Yeah, for me, Huhi has always been a guy who's played a vast array of champions, and I do have confidence in him picking up the Twisted Fate as well. Also going to play really well into that split style CLG, trying to play the objective game. Unfortunately for Counter Logic Gaming, they haven't done that well in the later stages of the game, while they have had pretty strong early games and openings.
Certainly have, as the teams move out onto Summoner's Rift. We'll see if there's any level 1 preparation. Like you said, CLG's early games have looked very good. And right now, maybe grouped up for something. Do have the Braum and the Sejuani, so can certainly make a run at level 1. Contractz, we'll see if he's the victim. Not spotting just yet, although some pings may indicate that I think a glimmer of ReignOver was seen. Actually, an early ghost from Huhi looking for the gold card. Contractz out of Fog of War, does land, but probably not enough follow-up. Just going to force him out of the jungle for a second.
Yeah, Summoner's Spellbook reduces the cooldown very heavily still of Ghost, so it's actually very common that we see Ghost used by mid laners that have it in combination with Spellbook early on for those invades, especially if you are something like Twisted Fate with some early CC, but Contractz unfazed. He doesn't panic, doesn't level up, leap, doesn't use his flash or anything because he knows there's no follow-up damage. But yeah, that Ghost cooldown is very short, so should be coming up pretty quickly, unless he can get there immediately to try and punish Huhi.
Well, I don't know if this would have changed much, but junglers will start on the same side as a result. So CLG, with that ward, will have some information about what's happening, but let's line up the mid lane matchup here. It's been a while since we've seen TF and Ryze has been a common staple of the metagame. Then there's the leash coming out, and Contractz probably going to save this smite. Looks like we'll see where he goes after this. ReignOver also got that help. Contractz just waiting it out, dragging the buff away and onto Wolves. By the looks of things, as ReignOver going to skip that Raptor on Sejuani and go straight to the other side of the jungle.
Yeah, both of them getting the pulls, and ReignOver has been the one with some incredibly crafty routes. We'll see what he does, knowing that Contractz has started on the bottom side. I think both of them can infer this, as both bottom lanes came late and top lanes were already trading. But yeah, it's just actually a sorcery secondary Twisted Fate instead of the Resolve for the extra defenses there. So we'll see how Huhi does navigate this early game.
Yeah, it can be tough. Twisted Fate is infamously low on base stats, as ReignOver does take the Scuttle Crab for a bit of solo lane defense left of the river. Darshan we saw briefly, does have Klepto as expected, so with the Relic Shield should be able to print some money up against Lourlo in the tank matchup. Otherwise, Contractz going to start something. Was spotted though by that nice ward place, so the early level 3 gank not coming out there for the Kha'Zix. Contractz are going to keep dipping around, trying to find another angle, but looks like he already realizes that the vision is there, so nothing forthcoming from that attempt there in mid.
Yeah, a lot of river vision being placed down early, and no excessive trading on top side, though. Darshan does have a sack of gold already. I've actually seen people getting really lucky in the LCS with their Klepto procs. Definitely goes a long way. Huhi gets all in here in the
great cleanse from High.
Yeah, forces the flash. So Ghost is back up now, but with the flash down, Contractz is attracted to the mid lane confrontation.
Might take only one route there from High. Won the back end of that trade handily. Contractz and ReignOver though meeting. Gonna get stunned up. Damage from the aftershocks not bad. Contractz like, yep. Getting out of there is Huhi could ghost over as well, despite the pressure from mid lane.
Yeah, Huhi does stick around. He chugs his potion. Should be able to get some mana back as well with blue cards off of that wave. And bottom side though, stun coming down.
Goes on a Stixxay. Definitely a Matt gonna try and make something happen, but can't complete it. Exhaust down from Matt, though, is mid lane again. Flash route there from High. Contractz looking for the first blood. No summoners left. Huhi burning down low, but no first blood.
That Q going wide is going to haunt High because they had the advantage there, trying to punish during the flashless time here from Huhi, but he gets out with just the ghost coming back up. And this is why everyone was so happy about Spellbook and so big on this. The cooldowns on your summoner spells mean so much for the mid lane as far as jungle pressure is concerned. Very close there, but unable to convert for the Golden Guardian.
Well, it's going to matter here because everyone's out in mid lane after that exchange. Darshan, though, getting things pushing up here in the top side, but Lourlo doing a nice job trying to keep Darshan away from the wave as best he can. Again, just wants to be defensive, try not to get too many vitals procced and farm up his way to team fights.
Yeah, Lourlo is zoning pretty well here on Darshan now in front of his turret, keeping the creep wave right in front of the danger zone. Darshan is the one without the vision. He doesn't know that Contractz is so low on Kha'Zix and is recalling right here, but he's giving him the benefit of the doubt and not moving up too far. So the Ornn getting some extra control, just tags him.
Shopping trip cancelled. Lourlo gonna have to do that one again. And also he picks up for himself there in the top lane. Early Glacial Shroud. Not too bad there for Lourlo, obviously gonna help in the matchup. As we check back in with mid lane, people have returned. It's a tier now for High, and it looks like that Rod of Ages here. Do see this a decent amount from Twisted Fate, wanting to get a little bit tankier there, especially given that Kha'Zix and Ryze have already shown quite a lot of threat there.
Yeah, and with the control ward that the Golden Guardians have in the topside river there as well, he's playing very safe right now. There are no summoner spells available. He knows that Ryze could easily get his speed boost, proc a root on him, and if Kha'Zix is around, that would be very, very bad situation. So just farming with the card spam there from range. You do lose out on a few CS, but it's not too bad, and the minion waves eventually pushing towards him now.
Going to play it patiently here. High ever the aggressor. Going to keep playing up, trying to zone him out. Good little combo there from High, weaves in some damage.
Yeah, gets some damage. He also times it with the focus of the minions on the cannon minion, so Huhi unable to get the cannon minion there, and now Contractz wants to add some extra pressure here during the crash of this minion wave. High tanks early.
Yeah, already dove actually. A little bit desynchronized, but Huhi must know what's up now. He does have his ghost, but no flash. They are going to go in for it though. Already hit 6, has the stun card ready. He's going to throw it onto Contractz.
So that was definitely some lack of coordination, whether it was communication or whatnot here. High actually.
Turn around. The flash knock-up is going to try and pop into stasis. Contractz looking for the damage to try and turn it back around. High gets the shield prop. Huhi does not die to the electrocute. Pops the stasis after the last W from Kha'Zix, and he gets out again.
So both of the mid laners pop their stopwatches just barely after the 6-minute mark here in the mid lane. But no kills still. Even with all this action that we're having around the mid lane, nobody has gone down yet. Incredibly close counter right there, but they were able to answer it. And now the minion wave is pushing in favor of High, or in favor of Huhi, and this is without a teleport on High. So he's the one that in the end is going to lose some minion wave control, and this will allow Huhi to catch back up. Now level 6 on Twisted Fate could look elsewhere.
Ooh, miss there from Lourlo. Doesn't quite land the additional damage, but still going in for it here. Darshan does now issue the challenge in onto Lourlo. Ooh, nice little stopwatch actually, but not sure it's going to matter enough. He's going to try and again move out the last vital, but Darshan moving forward, forcing the flash out of Lourlo. Just a trade of sums there on the top side.
Ooh. with Huhi being level 6, that adds a lot of threat, but the Kha'Zix is top.
Ooh, Ornn already hit that Darshan. Gonna be brittle for a while. Knockback as well. Contractz here just sneaking up. Looking for that first blood. It's looking so juicy, and there it is.
Contractz, level 6 now on Kha'Zix as well, gets to upgrade the ultimate. And this is where playing Kha'Zix really gets fun. You get to get your invisibility whenever you go through any brush. Very popular. We've recently been seeing people buying a lot of mobility boots so that you can stay invisible the entire time and get all the way from brush to brush. But in addition to the kill topside, Hai had just forced Huhi out of the river there when Huhi had attempted a roam with Twisted Fate to go to the top side and secure that kill. So they slot right in, take away the blue buff as well for him. And this is very good for the Golden Guardians. This is the initiation. And this right here, using the ultimate and Darshan getting a lot of the health back off of those vitals, trading flashes, was the good part. But then sticking around afterwards, they don't have jungle pressure. They know that their jungler's bottom side, whereas Contractz just gets to walk right up, and Lourlo able to keep Darshan in place, no problem, until the damage arrives.
Yep, and again, Kha'Zix picks up the early kill. Should be fast track to Warrior at this point, given that he already had a longsword after that Tracker's Knife. ReignOver looking mid there on top of a control ward. Might try something onto Hai, but Hai's flash is back, and he does have Merc Treads, which I expect from both sides of this lane. Contractz will get spotted on this blue, but like you mentioned, that steal already gifted over to Hai means Contractz can take this one, get a bit of an XP advantage.
Yeah, he's got the level advantage, no problem. ReignOver taking the Infernal Drake. He's just going to sit in there. It's a long cooldown on your Arctic Assault
6
now.
seconds still, yeah, really long. In fact, he's just kind of fighting it. Get a little bit of
well, I guess I'm doing it now.
Yeah. No one's checking, so it might work. Never mind. He gets out over the top, but 15 seconds, level 6. That cooldown. Yeah, that was a ton of damage from the trade.
Yeah, so one of the recent nerfs to Sejuani was adding 3 seconds to the cooldown of Arctic Assault. And that just led to 3 more seconds inside the Drake pit getting flame breath. But yeah, you definitely want to at least touch it so that you can get some life steal back from your talisman and not take too much extra damage there.
Well, no one checks, so a little awkward, but gets out okay. As he checked in with the bot lane for the first time in a short while. Looks like Stixxay is up in CS, again using that Kalista and her early lane presence to try and bully this lane, but man definitely seemed just fine. Should be able to play catch up here on this wave, and doesn't take too long to push that one back out, although maybe something started here. Stixxay and Biofrost hanging out for a potential all-in, but no silly face checks there from GG's. Just a Blastgo and taken down by CLG's duo lane.
All right, so we have yet to see an effective use of Twisted Fate Ultimate here because Hai has had a lot of control of this mid lane, and Ryze Ultimate, you can roam about half the distance, basically. And with him pushing up, they've been able to contain this Twisted Fate. It's been about 5 years since I've been talking about it, but always go to the source of a global for the enemy team. We like saying it when there's Shen in the game or something like that, but same goes true here. All of the jungle pressure has been centered around mid lane because if you get control of mid lane, then you allow your mid laner to roam as well, and you get to basically have double effectiveness of your ganks.
Hai with a really strong CS lead also, but bot lane action is brewing. Here's ReignOver looking for the ulti line. Matt ready with a flash, pops a stopwatch first though. Gonna duke out that first ult. The Chain of Corruption just missing from Deftly. Contractz won't enter as a result.
And that would have been a good turn if they would have been able to shoot the Varus ultimate a little bit earlier and tag someone, because not only was Contractz roaming down as well, but they had mid lane pressure yet again. So Hai, could have come over. Huhi, yes, does have teleport on Twisted Fate, but the channel definitely would have taken a while, and he was back in base, so the ultimate doesn't get you all the way to that fight from the base. Everybody, though, with their teleports available, so if something like that happens again, this very well could explode into a full 5-on-5.
Oh yes, there will be a party starting soon by the looks of things, especially since Drake 1 is Infernal this game. Rotavator's also done for Huhi, not so for Hai, but did have that tier stop off as Contractz looking mid again.
Yeah, whenever Hai on Ryze walks up and tanks the minion wave like that, Huhi's got to think that, well, there's probably a Kha'Zix around here, so he backs off wisely. Still takes a lot of damage, though, as Hai was able to get in range for that combo.
Lourlo also still getting things done farm-wise. Contractz checking the jungle. Invis in this brush. Takes the evolved up.
Oh,
steals it!
Got the whole camp!
With a single spike.
That was 100 gold W there from Contractz to get all 3 wolves.
That's a lot of value. Contractz inks in and steals that.
Damn, that feels good.
In a jungler sounds very happy. I would be too. Huhi trying to last hit himself under this turret. ReignOver says, fine, I'll just go back to a different camp and take that one out. But again, lots of farming here between the two. Contractz still holding kind of the early farm lead. Sorry, early XP lead, I should say. And now he and Lourlo actually looking mid lane again. Gank the source of the global code.
All right, they're coming for that dive. Huhi's got to be pretty quick about this one.
He knows it's too late now. Brittle, I think that might have combo. Contractz takes it down. High now running away from ReignOver as the TP moves in from Darshan. Lourlo still there, going to knock one back. Here's the Tahm Kench as GGS look to answer. No, Varus pops out, but it's Matt to defend with a Devour.
Golden Guardians holding on to this 2-kill lead now. See if Darshan adds 3 to it.
Oh, they take again. Contractz looking for Darshan. Darshan with a flash, but he's being a little bit stingy. No, gets over the wall, but High follows over.
High thinking 3 steps ahead here on the Ryze. Goes to the high ground, gets off the Realm Warp, finishes off the kill even after the flash from Darshan. Meanwhile, though, CLG are able to take the Inferno Drake with all of the action that was going on mid lane there. Kalista, Ren, definitely finds its effect here, and they're able to answer with an objective.
Yep, smart response there from the CLG dual lane, using their pressure to get that objective, but next Drake will be an Infernal, and Golden Guardians looking good as they maneuver around that mid lane. 1,000 gold ahead now.
Yeah, the analyst desk was talking about how High had the worst CSD of all the North American LCS. Well, never mind, let's take a look at this.
Bot lane incoming! I think they know though. Already 3-2, it's not incoming. It's not incoming anymore. Huhi doesn't pull the trigger on the ulti, and GGs will let their turret live for a little while longer.
Yeah, so they were talking about how High, in the North American LCS, this split is at the bottom of the standings, but second to last as far as the overall history of the North American LCS in CSD. But this time around on Ryze, with all the jungle attraction that has been going on, High is actually crushing Huhi with a huge amount of CS. And let's take another look at the extra pressure that's come. It's been a little bit of help. Even though ReignOver tries to get in and answer, Huhi is already dead. So being a man down, the Golden Guardians are able to fight their way out of this one. And Darshan afterwards had lost track of Contractz, who slipped off to the top side on the Kha'Zix, and being permanent invisible. He had no vision, by the way, on where High's Realm Warp was going. So that's why Darshan did flash over. He was trying to escape, but High already had cut off that escape route. Now, though, he's the one getting cut.
No cleanse here from High, but just tanks it for now. Contractz back in. Again, Lourlo with a roam, looking for the bull. Finds ReignOver, but it's just the tank. Huhi gets away this time.
I like this shot calling, I guess, from everybody fighting around mid lane. Seems like the ones first to arrive with the extra members are the ones winning at the moment. Right now, though, it's only 1,000 gold lead for the Golden Guardians with all these kills and all of the roams that are going on here. And meanwhile, that Infernal Drake is kind of the saving grace for CLG. Stixxay and Biofrost slipping back down to grab that one was pretty big. But we're probably going to see some first turret bonus gold fights taking place pretty quickly here, and this could balloon.
Yeah, again, mid lane is low on CLG's side, but Golden Guardians have the same issue there in bot lane, although now the gank finally incoming this time around. Matt staying back, devours out. The Glacial Fissure not going to the right target as Matt does burn the flash.
Yeah, that's why in Champ Select, as soon as we saw the Twisted Fate and the Tahm Kench comes in, that's the play you pick him for, saves them from that ultimate. Meanwhile, that leaves mid lane open, and I was thinking maybe there'd be another fight because we've had so many around mid lane, you know, over that first turret bonus, but they get it without losing anyone, and now Contractz bottom.
Yeah, actually kind of baited them down here. TP in from Golden Guardians, going to try and make a big fight win out of this one. Definitely no ult, but they're going to keep chasing. Bifrost already tagged. Kalista all used. High with the root finds ReignOver, but a little too far forward. Taking up the turret. Stixxay goes down to Deftly, though. Lourlo charging into place. Everyone's flashing through as Golden Guardians really want this. The heal burn. There's the ult from Lourlo. Going to look for Bifrost. He's got no ally to run to. Lourlo able to grab that next kill. Make it 2 more for Golden Guardians.
5-0 for Golden Guardians here, and they already took mid turret, so they have the first turret bonus gold. Contractz even was making a move towards Huhi, who only has the option of shoving up this wave to try and get something back for themselves. But tier 1 bottom also going to go down here. for Golden Guardians, and they are snowballing this one so effectively.
Certainly are. About 3,000 gold ahead. Every lane looking good. CS leads in top, mid, and bot is close, although Stixxay does have a lead there. So we'll watch this one again.
Golden Guardians just increasing the pace of this game very, very effectively. This is while High just took mid turret. He's able to realm warp a quarter of the map all the way down here to join this bottom chase. And even though they split focus here and High was trying to kill off ReignOver while the rest of the team was collapsing on the duo and ReignOver ends up getting away, they still got the 2 kills there and the bottom turret as well. So now they're trying to switch their sights up to the last outer turret here, but everybody's joining the party. Just look at that mini-map as everyone starting to roam up there.
Darshan, I think, just trying to take the recall, but looks like he'll get out safely enough. Matt was also ready with his ultimate to bring someone up, as I and Huhi doing battle in the top lane as once again Golden Guardians trying to knock these turrets down.
Yep, and we do have a lot of control around this Rift Herald, so Rift Herald should be easy for them to take, and that could be their ticket to the last outer turret. All this being said, though, well, never mind.
All right, one more being this is a 5-man. Everybody going into the party portal. ReignOver forced to flash out of the way after the root from High. Blue buff going to be the consolation prize.
Well, this is all 5 people from the Golden Guardians, so CLG are actually pushing mid lane right now, and because that wasted a lot of time, it actually does allow some relief of the pressure. Bottom side, Darshan is pushing up to that very weakened bottom turret, so it should be some gold back to CLG's side as they try and put a stop to this big snowball Golden Guardians were creating.
Yeah, a bit of an overreach by Golden Guardians looking for the 5-man play, but they disperse back into their lanes. Darshan able to take that turret in bot like you mentioned, but Contractz, he will grab the Rift Herald here. Top pressure still mounting from High, and maybe Contractz will likely take the Herald there as well. And also Infernal Drake up in 10 seconds.
Let's keep the fireworks going, Pastry. Some more fights, please. Infernal Drake almost on the way here. And High actually should probably finish this one off since he doesn't have teleport, he doesn't have realm warp, and CLG will be very happy to stack 2 Infernal Drakes despite the early gold lead of the Golden Guardians getting a lot of kills and a lot of early turrets. They're going to trade continuously here.
Yep, actually going mid-tier 2 instead, knowing that High's got the top. It was an Ocean. Looks like I mislooked that one. But still, we'll go over to CLG, stacking those Drakes up. Shelly, who's able to finish off the mid-tier 2 with some help. And High, like you expected, is going to take this top outer as well. So 4 turrets to 1, 5 kills to 0. Not a shutout by any means, but 4,000 gold ahead as GG's to keep that snowball rolling.
Oh, yes, I guess they had the wrong one popped
I was tricked.
Ocean is actually pretty good early on too, but the Golden Guardians continuing to take turrets. They got that mid one with the Rift Trail that we're talking about, and now they've got a lot of map to work with. And remember, this is now level 11 Kha'Zix with 3 kills, mobility boots, and Duskblade of Drakthar. Very fun to play the champion right now. You can go after Twisted Fate or Fiora or even the duo if you have some backup, because the Abyssal Blades from Tahm Kench allows Golden Guardians to kind of equalize those numbers where you would usually expect Twisted Fate to be the one holding the extra cards.
You say fun, Kobe. Fun for who?
Me!
Fun for you as the jungler. Certainly not fun for the squishy members of CLG. So we'll see how Golden Guardians can continue playing this map. I do like actually kind of the counter-attack mid with Rift Herald. Taking an extra turret always helpful, and just a Sentinel hit. High does get screamed at, but gonna take down the Scuttle Crab as Golden Guardians taking firm control of this left-hand side of the map. Looking to threaten Baron and shove down that long lane mid.
Yeah, and again, one of the reasons control of these brush is so important is because then the Counter Logic Gaming, they can't even go into their own jungle. It's so difficult to keep track of a Kha'Zix walking around with mobility boots. You can be permanently invisible. So unless you know, they've got the sweeper going right here, they're not even going to know, and he could just pop up behind someone with Tahm Kench ultimate bringing another person to the party, and that's basically an instant 3-person collapse that they have to worry about.
Yeah, Lourlo also ready and has been pretty effective with his ultis and his TPs. Darshan can match, but Golden Guardians just throw a parade of wards into the left-hand side around that blue buff. Again, reaffirming control of this Baron, and definitely ready with a Wild Turtle, perhaps.
Yep, Contract's going to get into range here on Stixxay.
He's going to start it, goes re-invis with the ultimate. dips back out of the way. Maybe a little too far forward there from Contractz. TFL, he's going to spot him out, but the damage still moving back through. Glacial Vision not bad though from Biofrost as GG's pulls the kite back towards the turret, but damage is just not there, and Lourlo maybe ready to re-engage with the ult, but he's going to seed forever. Finally, lets it go, calls the Fort God, finds two for the knock-up as Golden Guardians are going to chase down the carries. Lourlo flash forward, they're looking for the knock-up as the front line from CLG finally melts. Deftly in a hail of arrows takes down ReignOver.
Oh my goodness, that was so close, and the re-engage pays off for Golden Guardians. Now they have control of Baron, and they're going right for it. Will CLG be able to answer? And an Ocean Drake is regenerating them. Teleport comes in from the top side. Darshan is still going to have to walk.
Very aggressive here from Golden Guardians, but little low here. Baron also getting low. They should be able to finish it off. Does go down to Contractz, who smites it, but can they get out safely? Golden Guardians need to try and run. They're looking for the re-engage as Matt gets taken down by Stixxay high in the front line, trying to get a trade kill back, but he will die to the Kalista as Stixxay grabs the double. Deftly still running as the passive wears off from Braum. Flash, Q lands. Deftly trouble now as he's looking to fight it out, but he's just going to get slapped around. Biofrost with a great bit of stasis does live. And Contractz like, I just don't know what to do. Stixxay says, I do. Ren down. CLG getting all the kills on Stixxay.
Oh, Contractz hesitates there on the side. Didn't know if he wanted to go in for the kill on Biofrost and fight to the death there with Deftly, but in the end, the hesitation cost his life anyway as CLG get a lot of kills after the Baron. What a crazy little escape there. This is going to be 2 extra turrets taken down and a lot of gold back into the war chest here. But let's take a look at how it all started out. It was actually Contractz going up with Kha'Zix, uses the invisibility, has to flash the ultimate eventually, and then they do buy time for the teleport to complete here with Lourlo coming in, but he gets chain CC'd as soon as he gets in. Lourlo waits out 3 forms of hard CC before going for the Call of the Forge God, because if you get crowd controlled during the first half and you can't reactivate it, then you lose so much of the power of that ability. In the end, they do take down the front line, ReignOver, and that's what caused them to go for this Baron. So it was a good Baron take here from the Golden Guardians. And man, that was a good timing there on Contractz Smite because Biofrost is actually pretty close to stealing it. But the escape is where it went all downhill for them. Huhi on Twisted Fate, able to get the gold card here to keep him in range long enough. And even though Deftly heals for the speed, Biofrost did flash.
Back at it again. Biofrost thrown in by Kalista. Contractz looks for that re-engage, gets stunned. ReignOver jumps on a bit of devour from Matt's gonna save the jungle of Lourlo. Here again as High already took down the front line, and here we go. Everybody riding forward. Actually, it's just High. Solo mission forward, but Lourlo is ready with the ulti. Blocked by Bio, but I think Darshan still took some of the hit. Golden Guardians reaching for another kill, but they can't quite grab it.
Oh, they're not able to get any more. They did get the kill onto ReignOver once again, though. Golden Guardians just melting this front line here. One of the things about Sejuani, people always build the Warmogs first, but against percentage health damage like a Varus with a Rage Blade, that's why he's melting so quickly here. Deftly's just throwing arrows into him, and now they're throwing arrows into the inhibitor.
Still got Baron as well, so do actually push down, take down the mid inhib. Darshan with a good parry. Blocks Lourlo, but still the inhibitor taking damage. ReignOver is back, and they can't quite finish it off just yet. ReignOver might be looking for an ulti, doesn't have it, never mind. Golden Guardians chasing forward. They do want the last few hits if they can get them.
Yep, gonna stick around, continue the pressure here.
Might be a false choice. Mission not good. Lourlo stunned forever again. But still the damage being thrown out. Lourlo low, not gonna go down to the W just yet. Biofrost looking for attacks high. Has to be careful. Huhi no ulti can't chase, but doesn't have his flash either. It's precious seconds until that's a value red card if he can land it, but CLG not going to get anything perhaps.
And this one is actually an Infernal Drake.
Can't confirm. Here comes Huhi. Straight in there. High devoured up by Matt. Lourlo frontlining. Calls the Forge God. Biofrost blocks it, but GG's trying to back around. The Chain of Corruption's wonderful as Darshan goes down to Matt. Contractz. Will he click this time? He's going to keep going forward. Lourlo, again, trouble, knocks himself into the wall near Bloober. Golden Guardians fighting with no health at all, but Bio goes down to Deftly. Golden Guardians trying to win the fight. High down to Huhi. A 2-for-1 trade.
Oh, and the Golden Guardians fight them off once again, and they are able to claim the Infernal Drake prize. Unless ReignOver pulls off some miraculous steal here, the teleport's coming back in. Here comes Huhi and Stixxay.
CLG just trying so hard to reach for these objectives. The TP will give them the Infernal Drake. It does go down, make it 2. 3 total Drakes for CLG as they try and stay in this game.
This is what you like to see, Pastry. People were complaining about teleport slowing down the game because you just use it back to lane, but everyone using them offensively here, as well as the Twisted Fate ultimate. Huhi goes right in with the Messiah. Zhonya's is afterwards, but it's the turnaround here. After they are able to chase down, Darshan gets annihilated, and then through this little corridor, it's a good ult from Biofrost. He puts a stop initially to the Golden Guardians' assault, and Lourlo goes sideways into the wall, but High flashes in on like 13% health right there with Ryze, pops his shield, gets the combo off, and relies on Matt with the Tahm Kench Devour to get him right back out. Afterwards, there's really exciting team fights that are going on here with these chases.
And we're probably not done, given that Baron's spawning back up in 2 minutes. Next one is an Ocean by the looks of things, so some of the hype is dying down for these Drakes, but still CLG happy to grab the 3 that they have. Stixxay, 3 items and a QSS can certainly carry these team fights if they find the right positions, but Golden Guardians have been relentless in their pressure so far.
All right, well, let's take a look at the next chapter of this story. Mid lane, Darshan's actually recalling from the split push for CLG, so they might want to fight this 5-on-5, it looks like. They're not committing to that side lane pressure. It's a big minion wave that Golden Guardians would have to worry about.
Yeah, again, trying to take that in here, but didn't get it last time if I recall correctly, so trying to do what they can, but this is a bit of a struggle for Matt, trying to regen some things up. Lourlo's like, all right, let's make it happen. Biofrost says, nope. And that's going to be it for the GG side. Lourlo gets out of the way. The CLG going to keep fighting forward. Glacial Fissure not quite going to go. Darshan a little too far forward as Contractz tries to find the angle on the flank, but he's spotted by the Destiny of Twisted Fate. Now going to maybe jump in. Looking for the flank, Darshan. Not going to make it happen, but Lourlo frontlining so well as Bio's too far forward. Goes down to Deftly, High again, getting aggressive, moving into the portal. Messiah's himself, but Stixxay able to take down Matt. Still the knock from Ornn, gets almost all of CLG, but Stixxay lives to get another double kill. Deftly gets done, he's forced to flash. CLG's hold their defense.
Yeah, with 2 down from the Golden Guardians, they have to retreat here. Counter Logic Gaming finally are able to find themselves a team fight victory, but it doesn't earn them much. It's just a little bit of breathing room. If we even toggle the vision once again, Golden Guardians have been the ones, the aggressors here, that have left most of these wards. So CLG now venturing into the darkness, and it's a bit dangerous.
Given the pace of this game, breathing room is actually surprisingly valuable, given how much has happened. Baron up now, though. GG's a little staggered to get back to the area.
Are they just going to rush it?
2 members going to start it from CLG, spotted already. Oh, the rest of CLG, though, coming up. Lourlo can't see B, but is a little late to walk over.
Missile Voyage brings in Matt as well. This will be a 4v5.
Golden Guardians looking to make it happen.
5v5.
Everyone's joined in. Baron 50% HP. Teleport in from Lourlo. Here comes the Forge God. Biofrost with another great block for the Baron. Is so low. They're going to try and fight it out. Kalista should be able to get the Ren down. The Baron so low. Tahm gets it. Matt able to steal a Golden Guardians. Going to try and wipe CLG in the pit. It's such a mess. But Golden Guardians find the Baron and the ace.
Oh, that's going to be them teleporting for the push, too. Can they actually end it? It's at least the inhibitor. These are 30-plus second death timers right here.
High's got his ult, can maybe make a big Nexus push. Here it's going to start it all off. Contractz low, but he's going to be here for the damage anyway.
All right, this is going to be a race against the clock, and it looks like they have the advantage.
20 seconds for the first person on CLG to spawn. First turret's going to get focused down, 15 left. The race against time will not be won by CLG by the looks of things. Nexus turret's going to fall. 10 seconds left till they spawn. Golden Guardians play so aggressive, but it pays off big. They take down CLG.
And they tie them in the standings. Golden Guardians' 3rd win for themselves here. Those last playoff spots are anybody's right now. They are definitely up for grabs. What a high-action game we have here, and it ends very quickly after that Baron.
And High had quite the game on Ryze. A little underwhelming yesterday when he played the champion, but has more than redeemed his performance. And you said it, all that focus on mid lane makes sense strategically to cut off the global and prevent access from Huhi in the side lanes. But I think if nothing else, just giving High more confidence, you see what happens. Golden Guardians just play so differently when their leader feels emboldened.
Definitely true. So much early aggression around that matchup, and they're able to find a lot of momentum as well. Afterwards, though, so many good uses of those globals to continue the chase. allows the Golden Guardians to push that gold lead ahead. Even though CLG were grabbing the dragons up early on, the Golden Guardians kept up with the kills, kept taking down the turrets, and they were able to keep the pressure up long enough that they had control of the map, which meant so much more.
And look, it wasn't all good aggression necessarily from Golden Guardians. There were some
it's always
sloppier
good
spots. But I mean, hey, they just kept going. Hai was constantly portaling in aggressively, and it paid off towards the end. To hear more about that game, though, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. A little bit of chaos. Or a lot of bit of chaos in that game. Didn't look super clean for either of these teams, but the important thing here to notice is that Golden Guardians, with this victory, ties CLG in the standings.
Yeah.
So a team that's been sitting alone in 10th for quite some time is now finally making some moves here on the back half of the split.
And it was convincing in a way, I would say, where I am pretty confident now that Golden Guardians is the better team than CLG. While it wasn't clean the whole way through, CLG is just so desperate for anything to work in their team comp. They're throwing the meta aside. Talia's up, whatever. Banning Galio when you're trying to go for a 1-3-1 comp. Why not leave open one of your best picks for potentially? Huhi probably hasn't played a ton, I understand, but still, like, then probably learn that instead of trying to make TF work in the current meta or something.
Yeah. So every move that CLG made, I feel like, from the draft phase to the early game to the Baron call at the end of the game, had like a wisp of desperation to it. Like, they were always going before they had to, and this is another example. Like, Hai's still dead, can't get back in the fight. I understand you have Kalista, so you think you can secure the Baron, but if this team's going to all in you, especially when the TP comes in, like, just fight. They had been winning fights. Kalista was super fed. There was a bunch of health stacking tanks. Instead, like, what happens here?
He rendered with exhaust still on him.
Yeah, and then Tahm Kench steals it. One of the junglers smote there, and it was the exhaust.
Yeah, Sejuani smote and then exhaust on the rend there.
Like, yes, a very clever exhaust, but you shouldn't be in that position.
No, that was
if you're CLG.
Nope.
No, that was definitely one of those games where you just kind of look at it. It's like a train wreck. Like, you can't look away, but you don't want to watch it either. You know, it's one of tough to talk about.
Right. That said, let's look at some individual performances within this game. One of the people I want to talk about is Hai. Talking about mid laners today, he was at the bottom of the list. And to be fair, throughout the majority of his games, you're looking at CS differentials like that on the left. But over there on the right side of your screen, plus 33 at 15 this game.
Almost across the board, they were winning in their lanes. I think Ballin was the one exception, Stixxay having the CS lead. But against Darshan with that Ornn matchup was actually up a lot. Both CLG solo laners were at around like 70-something CS 10 minutes into the game, which is a pretty bad number for professional play in this day and age. People are usually up around 80, 90, mid lane sometimes pushing 100 if they're stealing some Raptors and stuff. So it was one of those games where Golden Guardians did a lot of stuff right in the early game, did struggle a little bit in the mid game.
All right, you already mentioned the TF pick and kind of shoehorning it in there, but let's talk about Huhi and the unique champions that he's played so far this split. This is a guy that in past seasons has himself been vocal about how he feels he has a champion ocean, but sometimes that's not the best way to go about things.
Very polluted right now.
It's a champion mirage.
Because
menagerie.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
No, it's a mirage. You think there's water there, but there's not. It's actually just dry.
I was thinking mosaic or something to try and frame it.
It's a menagerie
really,
of champions.
He's just played a splattering of champions, and he's also trying to be the shot caller, and you can see that, like, it's not working. COD is trying a bunch of new things over and over and over again, and every time it feels like it gets a little bit worse. Like the Twisted Fate was one of the worst champs I feel like he's pulled out.
Right, Twisted Fate. We had the Vel'Koz yesterday. You're looking at things like Fiora, which haven't found a ton of success, and then even the Zilean pick, right, that came in week 1 after the loss to C9, and so it does, to some degree, look like CLG, just as a whole, is lost in terms of how they want to play the game and what champions will best serve them when finding a victory.
I said at the start of the season, I don't think Golden Guardians will finish 10th. I think one team will go mental boom, and they'll finish over them, and I think we found out who that is today.
And Golden Guardians needs to build off of it however best they can, right? Like 3 wins, 9 losses, you're probably not making playoffs, but especially for the first split when they talk about long-term growth, not finishing last is a good goal.
Right, 6 games to go for Golden Guardians. They just found their 3rd win. Let's go ahead and send it over to Avali and Golden Guardians Predator in the jungle.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Contractz. You had an amazing performance today. The last time Golden Guardians had a win, Lourlo said it was the best day of his life. What does today's win mean to you?
Obviously, win's a win, so it feels really good, but it's kind of a fiesta. We were pretty ahead, but then we just started like kicking really bad fights, and I don't know. I'm just happy to pull out the win, obviously, but we can make improvements.
Improvements, but I think you've made some so far. It looks like Golden Guardians has made a lot of progress since the beginning of the split at week 1. To what do you attribute that growth to?
I think everyone just has really good mindsets. No one really tilts super hard, or we all just want to improve, and we're here to improve. So I think that's what's keeping our mental strong, and we're just keeping on improving. So yeah.
We haven't heard too much from Golden Guardians, so what's the team mentality or team morale like overall?
Right now it's really good. Everyone, like I said, is just looking to improve. We're all like super happy. We're all friends. I mean, maybe not super happy because we're 3-8, but we're all doing well. Yeah.
Well, you guys go against Cloud9 and Echo Fox next week. What's the team focus or team mentality going against those two titans next week?
Well, we beat Liquid, right? So time to go 5-8, I guess.
Perfect. Contractz, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck next week. And stick around, because after the break, we're going to see Cloud9 versus Clutch Gaming. Clutch Gaming versus CLG. There's C's, there's G's everywhere. Stick around.
We're here. Let's go.